I have a good friend and investor that has worked for a publicly traded company for many years, 30 years, and he said they are all looking at it.
You talked a lot about energy companies too, and it seems like about a year ago, or at some point, year and a half, there was like this aha moment in the energy industry of, oh my goodness, Bitcoin is going to get tied to energy companies. How would you answer the question, okay, what percent of energy producers are now working on driving towards thinking about Bitcoin? Is it over 50 that are now there, or is it still a small percentage that are realize that see this train coming, or what?
I talk to a lot of people about that, and from what I hear, the rumblings, they're all looking at it. I have a good friend and investor that has worked for a publicly traded company for many years, 30 years, and he said they are all looking at it, but it's all behind the scenes. And so that's one thing with our organization. We become a bit of a hub for a lot of that information. We're working with schools, we're working with companies. Some of them come to us under NDA and we can't speak about it, but they're all, I'd be surprised if there's big companies that haven't looked at it, but they're not talking about it.
Yeah, I think what I might add there too is we have some machines we've donated and plugged in at A&M, and I think as we start to more publicly ramp up that collaboration, which is imminent, that's really going to be another tremendous inflection point, because the university, so many former students, myself included, work in the oil field and in energy companies. I was just in Miami last week and met with one of like the largest household name companies, and the feedback was very much like the higher ups, kind of the older they are, typically they're not as open to Bitcoin, but if it's an A&M collaboration, they'll do that. But even the most skeptical, I think, are starting to realize that the answer isn't, we're not going to look at it. And that was part of the discussion at TCU as well, is you don't have to, it's not that every single company out there is going to be mining Bitcoin universally. Maybe we'll get there. I'd love to see it. But I do think there's a point in the future, not that far out there, that you will look ignorant and ridiculous if you're at an energy company and someone asks you, what's your take on Bitcoin mining? And you just laugh and say, that's silly. I remember a time not long ago, I often tell this story because it helps people in the oil field identify with it. But when electronic fracturing jobs first came to the market, that was a joke. Like people would say, oh, I'm going to start running electrify my oil field and run an e-frac crew. And it was like a laughable thing. Now, if you're not looking at it, or you go to a board meeting and say nothing about that, or like electrification in general in the oil field, it's a fireable offense. And so I think that's the same place where this is going to go, that you don't have to necessarily recommend that you mine Bitcoin, but you better understand the basic economic components of that decision-making process. And that's where we are right now, even as most of the companies don't want to admit publicly yet that they're doing it.
Hey y'all, Lee Bratcher here with the Texas Blockchain Council. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. If you like this content, check out the Texas Blockchain Council YouTube channel, as well as following us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.